Hey guys, welcome back to the Light Side Podcast. My name is Charlotte. I'm your host, and I'm incredibly grateful to have you back for another episode. We are on episode 14 of this podcast. If you haven't already done so, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast by following it on your preferred platform. It means so much to me, and I appreciate you so much for being here. So, for this week's episode, I'm going to keep it really short and sweet. I'm going to be quite transparent as I usually am. I was really excited to do this week's episode on a topic that I had in mind, but I couldn't get myself to record it. So I'm going to wait for the energy to guide me and to lead me. Instead, I thought of another topic that has been front and center for me because of so many life changes that I've had. And it's on the topic of the happiness guilt. For so many of us, we almost feel ashamed of being happy. There is this tendency to feel guilt because of our surroundings, whether it's our family, our friends, our colleagues who are really unhappy. We feel the need that we should also be unhappy, almost to fit in or to relate or to have a seat at the table. I feel really passionate about this because I'm a very empathetic person and I feel people's emotions quite strongly. And so I totally understand when people feel the need to empathize with people when they're in a funk or they're really unhappy. And I've seen this throughout my life, right? Like when I worked my corporate career and people would go grab coffee where people would speak negatively about their experience or their day. I was kind of the oddball that was always really happy and cheery and excited. And to be honest, I think it did cost me some connections that maybe they repelled my energy or they didn't like it that I was so happy and maybe made them uncomfortable. But really what I've seen to be true over and over again is that I rather be true to myself than try to fake being unhappy or to fake having an issue with something just to relate to someone. Similarly, there will be people that will gravitate to you because of your happiness, because you're cheery and bright or you feel positive. And by no means am I promoting toxic positivity. I just had a super down day yesterday, right? Like not everyone is always 100% happy all the time. I don't think anyone is. And we're human beings. And I think I've talked about this a lot in other episodes, so I won't beat a dead horse with that. But this is just about times when you are happy, when you're genuinely happy and you feel guilty because maybe your friends' relationships aren't working out. Maybe people you know are going through a hard time. Maybe financially others are struggling when you're not. Thankfully, I think we were born to be compassionate beings and to empathize with each other when we're going through a hard time. And as part of our social construct, and we care when others have suffered, we feel guilty of being happy when others are suffering. There are times when people are mourning. There are times when people are going through a really difficult time and they need a friend to listen, to be there, to give a crying shoulder and to be on that journey with them. But if it's just on a random day, if it's just a given where people expect you to be miserable with them, that whole saying, misery loves company is true, right? Like some people feel better when others also feel bad. When they're feeling bad, it almost feels like a validation for them that others will also feel bad, or they'll make sure others feel bad so that they feel validated and feeling bad. It's also that same notion of hurt people. And typically people who are extremely self-critical, extremely hurt within themselves are the ones who are hurting others. And so that's why I think so much of the healing journey comes down to self-love and self-validation and being able to muster up our joy from within us. But for this episode, I really want to talk about as to why it is safe for you to be happy. Just because you're in a happy relationship or you're happy with your job or that, you're happy with where you live doesn't mean you have to agree and change how you feel because other people, your friends, your circle, don't feel that same way. And Sometimes that's why certain relationships and connections come to an end, is because people only related with you through your misery, through the times of being down. And when you start to elevate and you start to up level and grow, it's hard for people to witness that. What I wanted to talk about today is to reassure you that it's not your responsibility to diminish your happiness so that other people feel better. It's not your responsibility to diminish your light, to turn down your light so others feel good or feel better about their misery. I think it's everyone's responsibility to up-level themselves, to work on this journey of increasing their energetic frequency. That is a personal journey that I believe every single person should be on, because that is honestly, I believe, how we can change the world through our higher vibration. Just because that person or the people that may surround you aren't on that path doesn't mean that they have the right to derail you from your path, from your happiness. I hope that what I just shared convinces you somewhat as to why you should give yourself the permission to be happy, that you deserve your happiness, you're worthy of it. The Upper Limit keeps coming to my mind that I've mentioned before by Gay Hendricks, and I think I really need to do an episode on that. What that entails of is when we have a thermostat, a baseline of happiness, and so we don't allow ourselves to supersede that. We don't allow us to surpass that upper limit. And I think that is kind of a more personal, psychological self-sabotage that we do in terms of making sure that we stay safe. We are afraid that being too happy is unsafe because we have the potential of getting hurt. I'm going to get into some more reasons as to why it will benefit you and why it's safe for you to be happy in this episode. I remember reading a quote by Brianna Weiss where she said, "When you get your moment in the sun, enjoy it," because every one of us goes through hardship. Every one of us goes through the really tough times and also the good times. But what makes the difference is our ability to be present in the moments that are our moments in the sun, to not taint the experience because we're expecting something to go wrong or the other shoe to drop. And I'll share with you why. For one, being happy allows you to improve your resilience. Literally, contrary to fear, which diminishes us and puts us in a state of fight or flight, being happy puts us in an energy of creation, of ease, of creativity that allows us to problem solve. Allowing ourselves to feel happy gives us the ability to cope with things when something does go wrong. I'm sure you can think of times when you had to deal with a difficult situation and your baseline was you were happy or content versus when you were full of fear. The way you approach that problem changes dramatically. I want to encourage you to enjoy your happiness in the meantime, because the tough times, the moments in the sun, they're all transitory. They all come and go. So enjoy it while it lasts. Nothing is forever. And if you don't take in the moments that are sunny, that are happy, you'll miss them. If you're in the past or in the future, and if you're worried that, oh, this isn't going to last, let me avoid getting my hopes up, let me avoid feeling too happy or too excited, enjoy it right now. Everything is only happening right now anyway. Trust that your future self can handle your future problems. We are intelligent beings. We're capable of problem solving in the here and now, in the present moment, when that problem arises, when that moment arises. So be confident in that. Be confident in your ability to rise to the occasion when it does come up. And your physical health will thank you for it. Your well-being, your overall well-being, not just your mental health, but your physical health. Studies have shown that people who are happier age less. They don't show their age as much. And so that in itself convinces me to work on my happiness. So I hope it does the same for you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, actually. It's the truth. Your overall well-being is much, much, much better when you're happy. And, science proves it. The chemicals in our body prove it. I want to encourage you to not contribute to the notion of misery loves company and really move into the mindset of your happiness spreading like wildflowers. Entertain the notion that your happiness is contagious and it can spread to other people. What if instead of your happiness pushing people that you love away or isolating you or making you not as relatable or as liked because others will envy your happiness? What if instead of all of that, your happiness inspires others to be happy too? What if your happiness will inspire others? What if you become that light that people look forward to? Studies have literally shown that happiness and positivity ripple through social networks, through friends of friends. So honestly, when I say, what if your happiness inspires them instead? I'm not just saying that. You can be that match that starts that fire. Why not be the match that starts the fire of positivity and love, not wildfire? Okay, maybe that's a terrible example. In 2024, we do not want to talk about wildfires at all. We never want to talk about wildfires. What am I saying? Allow yourself to be happy. You are worthy of it. Every ounce of your being is worthy of your happiness. The way I like to think about it is when you meet an infant or a child, they are so utterly filled with joy. And it's because they haven't been conditioned yet. They haven't been conditioned with pain and suffering, judgment, and the mind that, tends to cripple us with fear. They haven't been tainted with all that yet. And so their natural state of being is playfulness, is joy, is happiness. And so I truly and honestly believe that all of us are on that journey of coming back to our inner joy, to our happiness, to allow ourselves that, to give ourselves permission to do that. Remember that just like your worthiness is innate, you are worthy of happiness. You're worthy of joy. Even if everyone around you is against being happy, be the change maker, be the change agent, and allow that happiness and positivity to ripple through you and from you. And if you are in this holding pattern where you're finding yourself suffering with beliefs, stuck in repeating cycles or thoughts that bring your energy down, that impact your level of inner joy and your ability to have a baseline of contentment or overall happiness, I'm here to help. I'd love to chat with you. Feel free to send me an email. I have new coaching packages that I'm offering. I'd love to talk with you and see what your personal goals are, and we can create a unique personalized journey for you and your personal journey. So reach out to me. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to email me. Whatever is easier. I love hearing from you. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends, family, colleagues, or on your social media. If you can take a second to rate or review the podcast, it would help me so much. And I appreciate you. And I hope to have more of these conversations with you. And I'm sending you tons of love. Thank you.